we'll save that for about another 10 minutes. We haven't talked about the NFL yet, and you guys are, I know, chomping at the bit to talk about the Deshaun Watson.
No, we're not really wanting to talk about him.
Going on in Cleveland.
You're the one that's in trouble, Tom, not us.
I saw the interview, and it's like one of the questions was, have you really solicited massage services from 66 women? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if I ask you, let's role play here. You're accused of all this. Zach, if you hired 66 women to be massage therapists, what would the answer that your fans would want to hear?
No.
No, I have not done that. No. You know what he said? I ain't sure. I have to ask my lawyer. If the answer to a question, I have to laugh, because if I don't laugh, I'm going to cry.
So let's rephrase the question. Yeah. What if the reporter said over under? We're going to take a poll. Is it over under 60, Deshaun?
You're a young man. You're a good-looking, athletic, rich, famous young man. Why are you going to Instagram to hire massage therapists?
Why has money went to his head that he thinks I can do anything and it's all okay?
I mean, I would hate to see me at age 20-something with $200 million. I mean,
one of the best things that he did, y'all, but it's just was when he went back to his high school and took the people in the cafeteria money. And I was like, hey, this is a cool cat. Yeah. And then for all of that to turn around to what it is now, I wonder, it's just all of a sudden you've got tons of money. I do not know what to do with it. I'm going to do this thinking nothing's ever going to happen to me. And now, Tom, you are going to be without a quarterback.
I have to laugh because if I didn't,
probably multiple years.
If I didn't laugh, I'd cry. I mean, it's so bad. I mean, this situation is so bad. It's just, I'm serious.
I think we can get Kevin to pull us with the what's the other intern's name? Mason.
Yeah,
Mason. We get Mason to make Tom standing at two grave settings. We can have the Cleveland Browns on one, and we can have the Indians on the other. And Tom can be mourning.
My brother. Once says, just the GM's just an idiot. He has made other good moves, like locking up Ward, getting Clowney back, extending Nick Chubb. I mean, there's been a lot of there's a lot of things but this one I don't get. How are you going to write a check to a guy? And I know you could sit him down in a room and say, hey, look, man, what else is going to come out? Oh, nothing. But what are guys like him going to say? They're always going to say that. They're always going to say, oh, no, that's it. I mean, and you don't want to say automatically, well, all 22 of those women are telling the truth, because they might not be.
Right.
You can't say, I mean, there's been no criminal charges against him, and I think that's important to point out. But let's say that 20% of the women are right. I mean, that still gives you 4 or 5 accusers are right. So even at that, it's bad. You know what I mean? And some of the women have basically said, no, he's fine. He didn't do any, some of them have, but I don't know if there's enough going to say that and be proven. There's just, I could tell by him answering those questions just for being interviewed. The depositions are not going to, you know what I mean? Yeah.
How much does that, I mean, so he's got 240 something million guaranteed. How much does that affect how much does that affect
they basically structured the contract expecting him to miss a significant part of the season.
Yeah, because they didn't pay him this year.
So they're not going to pay him that much this year. But what's going to happen, I mean, it's kind of torn the fan base in two. Now, there are people that wanted the upgraded quarterback, didn't like Baker. I mean, I get it. I mean, either, some people aren't going to like him and they want to move on. But you cannot, two things I do not understand. You cannot pay this guy all this money if he's not going to play, and he's going to, even if he does, it's going to be controversial moving forward. Women don't like this. There's a lot of women fans in pro football, and even if most of them turn out to be not true, the optics of this aren't good. It's like, kid, we're sorry. The optics aren't very good.
It's really going to be the dog pound.
I can't. I can't write you. I can't pay you this much money. You're going to have to go to Atlanta. You know what I mean? I can't pay you all this money. So that, and how can Baker Mayfield still? We're June 18th. Terry, he's still on the roster.
I know, but they keep talking about the Panthers. That's all
Panthers
I ever
are still popped up on that. All it is,
all it is between the Panthers and the Browns is a game of chicken. That's all it is. Mm-hmm. Who's going to crack first?
Yep.
And Cleveland really doesn't need to do anything this year because they're okay on the salary cap. So they don't need. They could. They'd lose the roster spot. If you're going to keep him on the roster, you lose a roster spot if somebody else can help your team if this guy's not going to play, even if he's inactive.
Yeah.
So the Cleveland can risk that and basically say, okay, we're not going to cut him loose because if we cut him loose, you got to pay him, right? That's my understanding. You cut him loose, you got to pay him. So I'm not going to cut him loose and pay him, and he goes plays for Pittsburgh. I'm not going to do that. But a potential trade suitor is like, how much of the salary are you going to pick up? Are you going to, I think the Panthers will lowball him. We'll pay $4 or $5 million. You pay the rest, and he'll play for us. I think Cleveland said no, and I think one thing they're keeping in the back of their mind now. There's a ridiculous notion that he'll play for the Cleveland Browns. I will bet my life savings he will not play another snap for the Cleveland Browns. It's no way he's going to play again for the Cleveland Browns. So if anybody actually thinks that, forget it. He's not. Jacoby Brissett.
Take what you got and go with Brissett. And say,
Jacoby Brissett will be your day one starter in Cleveland. But the other thing that Cleveland can do is say, okay, somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. And when somebody gets hurt, Mayfield's value will increase.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I think that they're as far as they're not in salary cap trouble this year, they don't have to make a move. So therefore, see you, Terry. Good luck today, buddy. They don't have to make a move. So in this game of chicken, I think Cleveland can't. There's a lot of people say set Baker free. It's like, well, you're not the one who has to pay him by setting him free.
Yeah.
And I think there's in the back of the minds of some of theirs, it's like, well, this guy's kind of hurt his trade value by his antics. You know what I mean? Is this a locker room guy? Is this a team guy? Is he going to get along well? I mean, he's a competitor. He's a competitor. I believe he's been told he can't do it. That's not my issue with him. I mean, I think he's proved people wrong before, but there's going to be a question of, do the other guys like this guy? I mean, you're the quarterback. You're not the backup punter. You're the quarterback. So I mean, that's the most important guy in your locker room. So, but some of the things you've done and said has hurt your trade value. So, sorry, kid. Part of this is on you. Part of it's on the Browns, and part of it's on him. So, I think Cleveland's in a position where they can hang on to him until somebody gets hurt, something happens, and then his value will go up, and they can get back some of this draft capital. I mean, they gave it 3 number 1 picks for Watson, who's not going to play a snap. Yep. Watson will not play a snap in 2022. He might not play a snap in 2023.
The bad thing is they're not going to get the picks that they want, or he might not be valued for. They're going to get a 5th or 6th round pick, 4th maybe, 4th at possible.
At this point, you're not at this point. Okay, at this point, if somebody picks up a salary, that's probably good enough. If something happens to where you've got multiple people go down and his value goes up, you might get a little something back. You're not going to get some high profile.
That means you lost another draft pick because you wasted it on him too.
Yeah,
I mean, you wasted that.
I don't say it's a wasted draft pick because he did take you to a playoff game and won it. Over Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. That's huge for the franchise. So I mean, people can't forget that he did that for he's the first quarterback in Cleveland to win a playoff game in almost 30 years. It's just, Zach, it's one of those things where if you think about it, there's things to love Baker Mayfield for, and there's things to not love him for. I just don't understand why you're going to go out and get a guy who maybe not play if you want. I mean, you could have got another guy. You could have got a Matt Ryan. You could have got a Jimmy Garoppolo or somebody if you wanted an adult in the room. Okay, we want an adult in the room.
Matt Ryan would have been a bad for that team.
They're not. I wouldn't. They're not the talent that Watson is. But it doesn't matter if you're not going to see the field. It doesn't matter how talented you are.
But I don't know if Matt Ryan dropped out until Deshaun moved either. I don't know how that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I'm just kind of speculating. Mm-hmm. I know you could have got Garoppolo. If you wanted Garoppolo, because the injury concerns and all that. But
I think it makes you look at in the Colts and see. Yeah, they showed some on the field OTAs, whatever you want to call them, and he has really been pushing those guys to perform better. So he might.
He's an adult in a room.
Yeah, he's going to be in a good situation up there. That was not a bad team last year. They just didn't have the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, if your quarterback, if you want the adult in the room, if you want somebody who's not going to be the distraction, yeah, I think Matt Ryan's going to be excellent for that, and he can still play too. Is he Tom Brady? No, but he can play.
Yeah.
I mean, he can play. So I would have been much more happy, with that. And okay, let's go in the draft and get a guy, down the road if we can, then make your big trade, then give up all your picks to go get your guy, like San Francisco did for Trey Lance. Okay, he's our guy, so we're gonna make the big deal to get our guy. But I'm just telling you, what they did is just head scratching, is putting it mildly, Zach. It's like, what did we do? What did we do, and are we ever going to be able to
be tough?
Get out of this. So.
It's going to be tough.
Yeah.
So are we going to do JP? Well, we're going to do the commercial break at the end of the show. Is that what you were trying to tell me, or are we going to do one and then we come back and do NASCAR?
We can do one and do NASCAR.
Let's do that.
All
Let's
right.
go to a commercial break. Come back and give Shelby Heating their sponsorship, and then we'll come in with NASCAR at the end.
Keep cool this summer with one phone call to Shelby Heating and Air, your family-owned and operated heating and air company. And right now, ask for the exclusive Shelby Heating and Air summer